welcome back to Seconds Out. My name is Eamon Khan, here with the one and only Qais Ashfaq as we move into 2023. Qais, how are you doing?
I'm not bad, are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. Even better to speak to you, Qais. I've seen that you've been a lot more active than myself. You've been in the Peak District over the Christmas period. What have you been up to?
Yes, that was actually on Christmas Day. That was. I help out at a charity where we decided to do the Three Peaks Mam Tour. Um, just again on Christmas Day for charity, raise a bit of money. It was actually for Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Palestine. The money was for. So yeah, great cause as well, and a great thing to do on Christmas Day.
Raising money for good causes, and like I said, much more active than I am, although I'm trying to get more active in the future. Guys, let's reflect though on your 2022. You're out 3 times in the year. In your own words, how do you feel your last year went?
Better than the year before, because I wasn't out all the year before. But yeah, I had 3 fights towards the end of the year. Within under 4 months, I had 3 fights. So yeah, I'm happy to get back out there, and I'm looking forward to this year being a lot busier. And I want titles. That's my next aim.
Yeah, I assume that you're not where you want to be right now. With that, does that come with the frustration with your career as to want to push on, or how do you feel about where you are right now?
Yeah, like I say, I don't feel like I am where I wanted to be, but God's the best planners. I have full faith in that. And yeah, there have been frustrations along the line, but I keep reminding myself that I can't compare my journey to anyone else. And like I say, God's the best planners, and I'm just working hard in the gym and making sure I'm improving in all aspects that I can.
And also, you made a decision with your training team. You had a new training team. How do you feel with that you've settled with your team now that you've had a few fights with them?
So with the training team, bearing in mind before all that even happened, before my first fight this year, I'd been with them for about a year.
Mm.
So in terms of settling down with them, I felt very comfortable having a full year with them, training with them, adjusting to the style, and yeah, I'll be very happy over there. I'm looking forward to a bright future with them because I do believe they with them I can get to the top.
You boxed last year, I believe, at light, super feather, and super bantam last year. Where do you feel your future lies for you this coming year?
Yeah, so obviously because I never had to make no championship weight, it was all over the weights were a bit all over the place. Uh, couple of the fights were also on the day weighing. That's why the weight differed. But for me personally, I think I'm happy to be a. I feel strong and I feel better at featherweight personally. But if I get the right um, time, or the right camp, and the right money, I'm happy to do super bantamweight.
A featherweight is very much like a thriving division over here in the UK, especially. We'll hopefully be seeing the likes of Lee Wood take on Mauricio Lara. We've just seen Josh Warrington in action against Lopez. Unfortunately, losing effort for him. Got the likes of Jordan Gill in there as well too. Isaac Lowe is about. Nick Ball as well, who's rising through the rankings. Is there any particular fighter that you highlight and look to target in this coming year?
Target wise, everyone. To be honest with you, if you ever speak to my team or management team, they'll tell you that I'll fight anyone. It's just I need the opportunities. As mad as it is, and even with me coming up from super bantamweight, well, super bantamweight and featherweight, nobody's giving me a chance. Nobody wants to fight me. Understandably, I get the reasons. Maybe at the moment I'm more risk than reward and all that, and it's it's a big risk fight for anyone to take really. But I'm at a stage now where I need the opportunities, and that's why I'm pushing on. I've had them 3 fights now. I want some sort of titles next to push on, and I do generally believe that I still will be a world champion. I'm not. I believe I can be world champion at multiple weights.
There was a point when I last spoke to you, you were targeting a fight with Liam Davis, and I believe remember you telling me about a sparring story that happened between the both of you there. Do you feel that
Yeah.
that fight is potentially open still between the both of you?
Again, I'd love that fight. As long as I get the right notice, so I can make the weight. It'd be perfect. But he didn't fight me then, so I don't know why he'd fight me now.
Mhm.
But and especially back then when I hadn't boxed in 19 months, I was willing to get straight in there with him.
Mhm.
But again, he didn't box me then. So I don't again. I'd take that fight tomorrow. But
Mhm.
whether he'd have it or not, I don't know.
What is the? You mentioned that your plan yourself is to target those titles this year. Is that the same thing in line with 258 management? If you sat down with them and looked at the route that you're planning for the year?
Yeah, so I've actually got a meet with him on Thursday, believe it or not.
Mm.
It's funny you mention that. But the thing with me and 2-4, yeah, we're on the same page. We want titles now. We've had them free. Um, tick overs to if you want to call them that. Just to get back out in the ring after 19 months. And they've been in quick succession, like I say, within 3.5 months, I had all them 3 fights. So yeah, like I say, the next step now is titles because I'm not here to just fight on small horse shows and tick over. I'm better than that. And funnily enough, even when I'm fighting on these small horse shows, people saying to me, "You're too good to be on these shows. What's going on?" But hopefully the right promoter picks me up, and I get the right titles this year. And I'm looking forward to a successful year in my boxing career, and I'm looking forward to getting to where I really feel like I should be right now.
Here's a couple of things away from yourself before I bring it back to you. First of all, being we know you know you're good friends with Anthony Joshua. A lot of spotlight on Anthony Joshua at the moment, considering the loss to Usyk last year and the aftermath of that fight, and also the trainer search right now. What's your kind of thoughts and feelings on Anthony Joshua's search for a new trainer heading into this year?
Um, Again, in terms of trainer side of stuff, I can't really comment too much on it because I've not really spoken too much about that. But I do believe mentally, he's in a better position, a lot better space now. Because I had a conversation with him a few weeks back now, and it was just I was talking, in general, and for me, it just felt like mentally that break he's had after that fight, and the fact that he's not fought at the end of the year, I think mentally it's done wonders for him, and I think that's going to be a big difference now when he's fighting because he has been very active and he's been in constant big fights. And in terms of an opponent, I do believe the next one, it won't be someone who's well, it's my opinion. This isn't a fact or anything, but it won't be someone who's really terrible. Like because AJ doesn't fight them people, as you could probably see his record. He doesn't fight them people that people look at and think, "Wow, what is he doing with him?" He's always in with someone who's decent. So it'd be a decent opponent. But again, coaching wise, I've not spoken to him about, so it's not something I can comment on. But I've heard he's obviously doing his due diligence and looking at a few coaches. And I'm sure he'll make the right decision for himself.
When you do speak to AJ on the phone, what is it you talk about? And AJ is someone who it seems from the outside looking in picks the brains of people for advice and kind of what maybe they would do if they were in his shoes. Is that the kind of the general context of the conversation that you have with him?
Yeah, again, I'm not like I'm not the type to give him a call every week or anything like that. But when I do speak to him, it's about everything. Bear in mind, I've known AJ, so me and AJ got on the GB team within 2 weeks of each other. So I'd known him way before Olympic gold medal and all that. So it's more of a friendly conversation in many ways. As just two lads, two boxers, and anywhere I can help him, and if it does need any not advice because just any opinion. I'm always here. I'm always happy to give him my opinion and what I think. And I do believe I'm quite a knowledgeable person in the boxing world. So I do think he takes it on board and he appreciates it.
So with that said, then Kez, can you let us in what opinions did you share with him?
That's between me and him. There was a few opinions, but nothing that I can really disclose personally. But yeah, like I say, we have whenever we do get on the phone, as rare as it is, we have some good conversations, and he'd probably realise that I'm very honest with him as well.
Mm.
I'm not really the type to blow someone's trumpet. If something needs to be said, I believe it needs to be said, and I believe if you care for someone, that's the way it should be.
Now, I remember listening to it was actually myself, actually. I don't know where I was going there, but yeah, I spoke to Robert Garcia, and Robert Garcia said pretty much the same thing that you just said there, that during the time he spent in the gym with Anthony Joshua and Angel Fernandez, one of the um other boxers in the gym kind of said that to him as it is and how it is about his career, and maybe where he needed to go with that. Is that the type of things that sometimes Joshua does need, that little bit in his ear sometimes?
I believe so. Again, I can't remember the last time I was in the room while he's in camp, but maybe it's just people are scared to, people are worried to say something to him that he might not like, but it's doing him no favors. That's what people forget on the way. And like I say, I've always been a straight shooter. I'm very honest. I'm very straight up, and if I think something's right or something's wrong, I'll say it. And whoever it was in camp who was saying it, I believe they should be commended, because that's the way it should be.
Couple of final things on AJ before I change topic. Do you think he can climb back up to the top?
I do believe so. Yeah, I do believe he's got all the assets, as you've seen over the years, all the assets. But again, like I said, if he's getting people around him that are straight with him, and not gonna blow his trumpet, that could make a big difference. And again, when I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, his mindset seemed a lot better, and that's gonna make a big difference when he's going into fights. And hopefully, we'll see that old ruthless AJ back, and he's a killer.
Can you hear me now?
Can you?
Sorry, don't know what's happening with the connections there, but Eddie Hearn mentioning that he wants to see Anthony Joshua in with Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder before the end of this year. If you had it your way, which of the fight of the two would you want to see, and what are the chances do you give AJ in that fight that you want to see?
By the end of the year, first things first, I don't feel there's no rush. And secondly, out of the two, either, to be honest with you, either. And like I say, with the right mindset, the right mentality, and again, if the right coach as well, I do believe he can beat both of them fighters. But again, he's got to be on his day, because I do believe obviously both the fighters come with their own difficulties. Wilder's an immense puncher, we all know that, and Fury's such a clever fighter. So they're both in many ways total opposites. But the one thing they both have on AJ is the size and the height. But what I've always personally, in my own career, yeah, it's great to be bigger than someone, longer than someone. But if you look at your Mike Tyson's, and if you probably ask anyone who's sparred someone smaller than them, it's always so much harder to spar someone smaller, because you're punching down, you're leaving yourself open. So I do believe, like I say, even with the size differences, height more than anything, if AJ on his day gets it right and has the right mindset and has that killer mentality, he can beat the pair of them.
Bringing this back to you, Qais, I'm going to throw some names at you and let me know how you feel you size up against these fighters being at heavyweight. First of all, Jazza Dickens, how do you feel you size up against Jazza?
Very well. Me and Jazza have done countless numbers of sparring over the years, as amateurs and as pros. He's a very good fighter. But yeah, again, I think a fight like that I'd take all day long.
Second fight I want to mention is it was a losing effort for him towards the end of the year, but it was in a brilliant fight towards the start of the year in beating Karen Murphy, that being Jordan Gill. What do you think of yourself and Jordan in the ring?
Same. It's another fight I'd take tomorrow. Again, was hoping if that fight came about, it would be for a European title. But obviously, he got beat by Kiko, and even Kiko's another fighter. As soon as Kiko got beat, I was on Instagram saying I'd fight Kiko tomorrow. But again, I'm very confident in these fights.
Sticking on Kiko there, that'd be a very interesting clash. You and Kiko, him being come forward, and you, the style that you pose as well. Would that be kind of your first choice if you were to choose your own destiny? I guess.
Yeah, but it would have been more for the title. and I'm hearing he's vacated the title again. So it's one of those, it's catch situations, you know. Again, he's fighting someone like Kiko. Kiko wouldn't really, I don't believe would fight me next because he's looking straight at another world title shot, which makes sense. Which makes sense for what he's done, the way he won that European title. But again, I'd fight anyone for that European title, and whether it's Kiko, whether it's Guerfi or anyone, whoever is put in the position, I'm ready to fight.
The fight I want to mention as well, because he's catching a lot of eyes too, is Nick Ball. What have you made of Nick Ball's ascent as he's looking towards titles himself too?
I like Nick Ball. He's different in many ways. And I've done a couple of spars with him. I was actually very surprised because when he first walked in the ring, in the gym, sorry, I looked at him and I thought, he's tiny. Like, surely I can't let him get close to me, you know what I mean? But he's very clever at what he does and the way he fights. And I was very impressed with his in-close work, especially being such a short fighter with a low center of gravity. It was very clever the way he worked in close. But yeah, another good fighter, another great fighter. And again, another fight that if it was put to me, me and my coach would definitely take it.
Guys, I'll leave the final word with you. Either way, these fights that I mentioned there in prospect sound like very good fights that fans would definitely want to see. But when can we expect to see you out this year? Would it be an early thing? You've been out this year?
Yeah, so Ramadan starts towards the end of March. So I want to be out at least once before that. I'm back in the gym now anyway. Just like, again, we were just getting dates and fights down now. So hopefully I'll know myself soon within the next couple of weeks what's going on. But I definitely want to fight before Ramadan.
Because it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Once you have a fight announcement, we'll catch up soon and we'll
Perfect.
have another chat then. But pleasure speaking to you. Looking forward to seeing you back in the ring in 2023.
Cheers, mate. Really appreciate it.